Beloved friends, masters, welcome to the PMC English channel. This is Annapurna. From today onwards, we are going to start a new series on the Gautam the Buddha and his philosophy, and it is none other than on Dhammapada. We are going to take a series of episodes on this topic. So today we are discussing about the topic on Buddha and his Dhamma. India is one of the most ancient countries in the world, and it was a blessed land by so many enlightened masters and so many monks and mystics. Since Shiva and so many enlightened masters like Krishna, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi, Sadhguru Osho, and many enlightened masters have contributed their wisdom to the whole humanity. On the garden of enlightened masters, the one other flower has blossomed. He is none other than Gautam the Buddha. Buddha was born before 2564 years back, and he had started and established a new concept on spirituality, and he had called as a spiritual scientist. The Buddha and his philosophy was very much influenced the people, especially who are having the logical brains and who are thinking and their thought process in the form of a scientific way. So many people have influenced by the words of Buddha, and they have traveled in his path. After the Buddha, so many enlightened masters have came, and before the Buddha also so many enlightened masters have came. But Buddha has created a new path, and if we are going to divide the time period, before Christ and after Christ, like that we will divide the time period. Likewise, if we divide the spirituality according to the period, we can also divide the period before the Buddha and after the Buddha. Why? Because he had given a very scientific analysis, and he had combined both science and spirituality, and influenced so many people to travel in the path of spirituality, and he had raised a inner quest to search for the truth. So many people have traveled in the path of Dhammapada, and they have reached the goal of enlightenment, that is called Buddhatva. The Buddha and his Dhamma was very simple. The Buddha had given a three types of stages to travel in the path of enlightenment, that is Shila, Samadhi and Prajna. The Buddha says when a person, whether in the inner world or in the outer world, if he want to grow up to full extent, he wanted to maintain his character and he wanted to lead a disciplined life. In that context, he had given a 5 precepts to maintain a disciplined life. The first one is non-violence, and the second one is celibacy, and the third one is sexual misconduct, and the fourth one is different types of addictions and to avoid the different types of addictions, and the fifth one is travel in the path of truth. These 5 precepts will give a disciplined life to every person, those who are in the family life or in the path of enlightenment, and also who had renounced the world and become a monk, and completely they have dedicated their life to attain the ultimate truth. These precepts must have to be followed by the disciples. When a person will follow the 5 precepts, automatically he will enter into meditativeness, and the technique that was given by Buddha was Anapanasati and Vipassana. Whenever a person travel in the path of meditation, I mean he practice the Anapana and Vipassana, he will enter into the Samadhi. Then what is Samadhi and what is meditation? The first step of meditation was Anapanasati. Anapanasati means what? You have to observe your incoming and outgoing breath with complete awareness. What will happen if you observe a breath in complete awareness? Breath will work as a bridge and it connects the body, mind and consciousness. It is a barrier and it acts like a bridge between the body, mind and consciousness. So, when you concentrate on your breathing and when you will be aware of your breath, then automatically you will purify your body, mind and heart. So, the Buddha path was, this is the path of purification and it is called Vishuddhi Marga. So, whenever the breath will become purified, then automatically you will enter into your consciousness with complete awareness. Then what is meditation and what is the path of meditation and what is the definition for meditation? Meditation has different synonyms and different angles and different dimensions. Meditation is a no mind state, meditation is complete awareness and complete alertness, and meditation is a self remembrance. You will remember yourself, what you are and who you are, and what is your existence, and what is your original nature and what is your original face. And there is one haiku for meditation as said by the Zen masters, that is, sitting silently, doing nothing, spring comes on its own, grass grows itself. What happens when you sit silently and just observe your breath? Automatically you will enter into the no mind state. The thoughts will disappear, the body sensations will disappear, and the feelings and emotions will disappear. You will come out of all these clutches of body, mind and matter. Then you will enter into a very peaceful state. Then you will enter into a no mind state and you will get the cessation of mind. So, if you enter into the meditativeness and if you travel in the path of Anapanasati, then next step was Vipassana. And what is Vipassana? Vipassana means, in the Pali language, Passana means observe. What you will observe? Observe the truth as it is, without any illusions, without any visualizations and without any fluctuations. Just observe the truth as it is. When you will go according to the truth, you will generally observe what is the ultimate truth of the body and what is the ultimate truth of your mind and what is the ultimate truth of your heart, emotions and feelings, and what is the truth of your physical body. So, while seeing the truth, finally you will see the ultimate truth, ultimate bliss, that is called Paramasatya. And then finally, by seeing the materialistic world and the truth of this materialistic world and the nature of this materialistic world, you will automatically enter into the beyond this materialism and beyond this body, beyond this mind and beyond this heart, and finally you will enter into the state of consciousness, and finally you will enter into the state of nirvana. And this is the whole philosophy of Buddha. So, when you enter into the meditativeness, at least for 48 minutes, Then in the 49th minute you will enter into the samadhi. Then what is samadhi? It is called the art of dying. You will come to know what is death and what is immortality, and you will travel in the path of from death to deathlessness, and you will experience the death while you are living. And if you enter into the samadhi, you will come to know the ultimate truth, and you will come to know the what is the real bliss, and you will enter into the state of ecstasy and oneness, and in the state of spacelessness and timelessness, desirelessness. And this is the whole essence of samadhi. And when you attain the samadhi, all your questions which are coming from so many past lives and in this life, and so many different types of desires, so many fluctuations, all will disappear, and you will completely enter into your inner peace, and you will completely enter into your inner bliss and inner ecstasy. So, if you enter into the inner ecstasy and inner bliss, the next stage was you will enter into the state of self realization, and you will come to know who you are and what you are, and what is your original nature and what is your original face. And by self remembrance and by knowing the self, and finally you will attain the enlightenment, that is nirvana. So, this is the what the Buddha called, it was the prajna. So, the way of the Buddha was, he had explained the dharma in simple way. One is Shila, and the second one is Samadhi, and the third one is Prajna. So, while traveling in these three paths, you will enter into the nirvanic state. So, then you will come to know the ultimate bliss. So, that is the real inner ecstasy a man should know who has born on this earth. Why? Because the enlightenment is our birthright, and the Buddhahood is your nature. And while coming to the name Buddha, Buddha was a awakened one, those who had come from unreal to real, and from darkness to light, and from death to deathlessness, and who had seen the ultimate bliss. He was called Buddha. When Siddhartha Gautama had travelled in the path of truth and searched for inner quest, since from childhood he had travelled in the path of non-violence, and he was very sensitive and was very truthful and was very compassionate since from his childhood towards the nature, towards the animals, and towards every human being. So, he had born in a royal family, but his birth was taken place in the middle of the nature under the open sky at the Lumbini Vanam, that is situated in the Nepal. On those days it is the part of India only, and after he had grown up and seen life totally and understand the truth of life, then he will leave everything, he will go on in search of truth. The every important incident in Buddha's life has happened under the open sky and in the lap of nature. So, especially the 4-5 incidents that has influenced the Buddha's life has happened. He had practiced so many sadhanas for 12 years, but he had not reached the goal of ultimate experience. And one day he had left all the practices, and he had left all the gurus, and he had travelled in his own way, and one day he will attain the enlightenment. That is also happened under the open sky and in the lap of nature. And after that, when he had got enlightenment and he went in search of his five disciples, Panchavargiya bhikshus. Those five members are once when Siddhartha had done the sadhana, they are the friends of his meditative journey. So, after getting enlightenment, Buddha has travelled to Sarnath and he had given his first sermon to his five friends, and the Dhammachakra Pravartana, the wheel of Dhamma, has rotated from the Sarnath, and he has started his first sermon and his Dhamma Chakra Pravartana by his Panchavargiya bhikshus and five monks. So, those five monks have become enlightened and they have started to spread the Dharma throughout the world. So, like that, the Buddha has started his journey and he had influenced so many people and he had given a right guidance to travel in the path of truth. And Buddha is called as a spiritual scientist. Why? Because after the Buddha, the spirituality had taken a different dimensions and he had combined the science and spirituality and given a new dimension to the people to travel in the path of spirituality. The main thing the Buddha will tell that if you understand what is this material world and if you understand what is your body, mind and his sensations and what are your thoughts and what are your emotions and feelings as it is, and when you accept the truth as it is, you will come to know the ultimate truth. Before Buddha, so many saints and so many masters, they have given not importance to the body and mind. Always their vision was only on soul consciousness and self and ultimate truth. Mainly they will focus on these three things only. They have left the body, mind and all that matter. They will say that Jagat Mithya Brahma Satyam. This world is totally, it's a illusion, that ultimate bliss and ultimate consciousness is the only reality on the earth. Before the Buddha, all these saints have travelled in this path only. But after the Buddha had came, he will tell that body is not a illusion. Why? Because we are living in the physical body. And the materialistic world is not a illusion. Why? Because we are witnessing it. And mind is also not a illusion. It is working 24 hours, the thoughts are coming. And the heart is also not a illusion. The emotions are coming, feelings are coming. So, first of all, before going into the ultimate bliss, before going into the ultimate knowledge, first of all you understand the nature of your body, mind and matter and nature of this materialistic world. That is why Buddha had not talked about the God and godliness and also self. He will mainly focus on body, mind and matter. If you understand the reality and if you understand the truth of life, then you will understand the ultimate reality as it is. Why? Because the ultimate bliss is there at his place. But unless until if you don't cross the boundaries of body, mind and matter, you never come to know the ultimate ecstasy. That is why Buddha will not give importance and he will not focus on the ultimate bliss at first stage. And he will tell the four noble truths and what is the quest of human life and what is the truth of life and how you have to travel in the path of nirvana, and how you will attain the state of nirvana. And he will divide the Dhamma in 4 stages. The first was Kayanupassana, means become witness to your body, and the second one is Chittanupassana, and become witness to your mind, and the third is Vedanupassana, become witness to your body, mind and heart sensations, and whatever is happening with the union of this physical world and the inner world, then whatever sensations are coming in you, become witness to that. And the Vedana means the experience which you are experiencing on the part of body or on the part of mind, on the part of heart, whatever you are experiencing, that is sensations, that is called Vedanupassana. That is the experience you are getting while doing your sadhana. And the fourth is Dhammanupassana. Then you will come to know what is Dharma. Then you will come to know the ultimate truth. Then you will come to know the ultimate bliss. So, these are the 4 stages he will tell in the path of Dhamma. And this is the total practical aspect that he has given to the mankind. So, when a person travel in the path of Dhammapada, ultimately he will enter into the path of Nirvana. Then he will come to know the reality of this outer world and the truth of the inner world. Then ultimately he will realizes the self, and the awakening will come. The self awakening, the self realization and the self actualization. And when he travels in the path of these 3 paths, then ultimately he will know the path of liberation, the path of salvation. That was none other than the nirvanic state. The Buddha and his Dhamma was very simple, and it's very applicable to the present society and the present generation people. Why? Because he had explained the Dharma in a very scientific way. What the Buddha said before the 25 centuries ago, now the scientists, now the modern scientists are making so many experiments, and they have proved many concepts what the Buddha has said in the present scenario. So, spirituality is not different from science, and the science is not different from the spirituality. The science is the truth of outer world, and the spirituality is the truth of inner world. If you mingle the both the science and spirituality, and the spirit plus matter is equal to essence of life, and this is the whole essence of spiritualism, and this is the total life empowerment. Why? Because the man cannot live bread alone. He had born on this earth with some purpose, and he should attain something, and he had to gain something by being on this earth, and he has to contribute something by being on this earth. Then what he will contribute? So, that was none other than the inner truth. So, the science and spirituality will go together, the inner and outer world will go together. So, science plus spirituality, spirit plus matter, they are not 2 things, they are one. The physical body has a different science, and it has its own language, and it has its own scientific process. Coming to the mind is a barrier between the body and consciousness and breath. Why? Because the mind is nothing but your society. So, while understanding the body, mind and heart and sensations, you will come to know the inner reality, and also ultimately you will come to the outer reality. When inner and outer they both mingle together, then you will enter into the one pointedness. Then you will come to know the inner and outer reality, and when you enter into the oneness, then you will see the ultimate truth up to full extent. So, the Buddha and his Dhamma was a very simple way. He had explained the Dhamma in a very normal way and a very simple way. So, this is the introduction part of Dhammapada, and in the upcoming episodes and upcoming series of the Dhammapada, we will discuss on many topics about the Buddha and his philosophy and many other topics, and what is the truth he is going to tell about the ultimate reality, we will discuss in depth. So friends, travel with me in the path of Dhammapada and practice it and enter into the sadhana, and in future we are getting so many episodes on this topic, and I hope that all the meditators will utilize this Dhammapada series for their inner growth and for their spiritual path, and attain the nirvanic state in this life only. So friends, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and ultimately I will bow down to your inner consciousness, and I am very grateful to you to listening to my words with patience and love. Thank you very much.